Greetings and salutations and welcome to this game of LOL that I played. Don't worry though, you don't have to sit through the entire game, because that's not at all what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about that green thing in the foreground. This is the Razer Comms LOL Scouter. Now Razer Comms is a program that I use for my voice chat, if at all possible. Very few people use it because very few people have it right now. Basically, Razer Comms, Razer being the company that designs a whole bunch of headsets, they made a voice chat program because Skype had too much of the market and Skype's terrible. But unfortunately, while they were still in beta, and they are still in beta to this day, Raid Call came out. And Raid Call, as most of you should know by now, is fantastic. Combined with Ventrilo and other programs like TeamSpeak, you're basically left with a situation where there isn't a need for Razer Comms. Razer Comms really doesn't have anything they compete with, despite the fact that their audio quality is some of the best I've heard. There's just nothing, there's no need when there's a million other programs that can do exactly the same thing. So, Razer Comms decided to branch out and add utility to their program, add new features that gamers would appreciate. That's their market plan, and being a free program, it's hardly a market plan, but, you know, they still want people to use it. So, one of the things they added, and this was added in as of about 1 week ago, is the Razer Comms LOL Scouter and Razer Comms LOL Voice Chat. I'll start with the Scouter. Basically, it finds all the players in your team, and all the players in the enemy team, and gives you an abundance of information about them. In particular, it tells you their win-loss ratio in normal, their win-loss ratio in ranked. I believe it tells you their average KDR with that particular champion, because sometimes it shows my KDR and sometimes it does not. It also shows which champion they're playing, fairly obviously. I believe it shows the number of ranked wins they've had with said champion. A lot of the information hasn't been made actively apparent. But the most important bits on the far right-hand side, are the Mastery page and the Rune page. It will tell you their Mastery layout, be it 2109 or 2370, etc., etc. It tells you what their Masteries are. I cannot stress how useful that knowledge is, but more importantly, you can see what Rune page they're using, and if you mouse over it, you can see the specific bonuses they're getting from their Rune page. Now, some of you might say that this is cheating. It really isn't, in my opinion, because this is all information you could get by getting a friend to, say, find out who they are, and then look them up on LolKing, or a wide variety of other... Just in the LOL client, I'm pretty sure you can take a look at someone's Rune and Mastery pages through there if you know their summoner name. It just finds automatically and collates the information before you in a very, very useful form while you're still loading the game. So instead of just waiting for people to load, you can read up on your probable lane opponent, or all your opponents, figure out whether their strengths are going to be early or late. You can try and use the information presented to you to become a better player, play more carefully at the appropriate points, or build more specifically to counter them, not just their champion. Because you know more about them now, you have more information at your disposal, and that is the key to becoming a better LoL player, being able to use and acquire the information you need to win the game. So when you get right down to it, it's numbers versus numbers. Large element of skill, but numbers versus numbers as well. The biggest risk, and this is the nature of the program, the biggest risk isn't that you'll feel like you're cheating, or that you will be able to get a huge advantage over the enemy team, because neither of these things are true. The biggest risk with this program is that you will psych yourself out, because you can see exactly the ladder that your opponent is on. You can see that they're a Gold 1 player. I'm a Silver 4 player, and coming up against a Gold 1 player is very, very intimidating. But at the same time, you need to realize something, and this is not something that any program can tell you. It's a very important fact to note that the game always thinks you can win. Otherwise it wouldn't have ranked your team with their team. Your champion picks might be worse than theirs, in which case you'll probably lose. Or you might be mechanically incapable of outplaying them early or late or whenever. A million factors go into a game of LoL, but if you look at this program and say they've got the best stuff that they could possibly have for that champion, they're very specifically designed everything, they're clearly a veteran of this champ, I'm going to lose, you've already doomed yourself to failure. Just because they're a veteran of the champ doesn't mean they're going to beat you. Just because they've got everything they need to beat you doesn't mean they'll beat you. There is an element to skill of the game, and if you take it and approach it appropriately, if you look at it and go, okay, they've got the perfect setup for Lee Sin. I'm going to be up against Lee Sin. So, what approach do I need to take? How can I minimize my casualties while waiting for jungler ganks and everything else I need to beat them? Use the information in the appropriate way and you've won the game. That is how League of Legends works. The other feature, added at exactly the same time, is probably more useful, but a lot more subtle, and is something that needs to be implemented more. It is a League of Legends LoL chat client. Basically, the Razer Comms program automatically finds every single person on your team that has Razer Comms. And then it creates a chat room automatically, which you can join. You join that chat room, suddenly you're in a call with all your players, even the ones that you've never met before. Meaning that if more people get Razer Comms and more people link Razer Comms with their League of Legends, you'll be able to more effectively communicate with the majority of your team. Right now, the unfortunate fact of the matter is that nobody uses Razer Comms except the people that I already know. I imagine there's enough people out there that use it that it's going to work for some people, but the majority of games I go in and that client doesn't even open because there's no one else ready to utilize it. There's no other Razer Comms users there. So what I want to see is more Razer Comm users linking their LoL client to Razer Comms and using it, because the ability to have open voice communication with your team, whilst could be irritating in some respects, you will bump into a lot of 12-year-olds. Things like that, the irritating people that you don't necessarily want to talk to, that communication is faster than any amount of information you can give with a ping or in text chat. More importantly, people don't rage at people that they're talking to through voice chat. It just doesn't happen because there's a personal element. You know that they're a real person. You take away from the anonymity of the internet, suddenly there's less rage because you're not doing well, and you're more capable of asking for the help that you need, specifically. So that is this program. Basically, to sum up, if you get the Razer Comms program right now, and I will link you to ways in which you can acquire it, if you use Razer Comms right now, you have the opportunity to advance yourself in LoL a little bit more. You can provide yourself with more information and more utility to enhance your League of Legends play. I recommend it highly, and no, I was not paid for this. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all on the fields of justice. Good night.